We got to run the ball here.
Yes.
They don't even run the ball. I don't know who their running back is.
What's good, people? It's your boy, Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk, right back. Like I never left. What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all feeling? Back from a long vacation weekend, spending time with the family. I appreciate y'all's support and me being out and about, but we back. Got one more little trip later in the summer, and then we're going to lock in for the rest of the season. But before we get to that, you saw that clip in the beginning of John Gruden talking about the Cowboys. Now, listen, you might not personally like John Gruden. I'm not the biggest fan of John Gruden, but he does know ball. He knows football. He knows X's and O's way more than I will ever know. You know what I'm saying? And what he said, that little bit of a clip, I'll play the rest of it in a second. It's true. It's true. Let's just talk about the Cowboys' identity for a second, and then I'll play the clip. The Dallas Cowboys' identity has been lost for a while. All the times in history we've had major success, we've been able to run the football with amazing running backs, very amazing running backs. But one of the things that's standing out to me that I'm thinking about is it the amazing running back our identity or the offensive line? Because I know before you said we don't have definitively a great offensive line yet. I believe they're going to turn into it. And we don't have any definitively gangster great running backs yet, because they got to turn into it. We got some retreads and some things like that, but I'm not completely out on it, and I'm going to tell you why. But let's just talk about the fact that in Cowboys history, a lot of our success, the 90s, of course, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, Tony Dorsett, Staubach, of course, our championships were built on great running games. We've watched our little brother up in Philly take our blueprint, build a great offensive line, sign who might be the best running back in the NFL right now, and go win a championship on his back doing what we taught them to do. That's what little brothers do. They watch and they learn. And then we've gotten away from it and started to do other stuff. I'm not saying that you got to do exactly what you did in the past to get the results you got in the past, but you can't forget what made you, where you come from, because then you get off the tracks and off the rails. And that's why what John Gruden said, he was on an interview recently. I'm not too familiar with the young lady, but shout out to my brother Jay Tuck. He sent me the clip. I listened to it and said, yo, Gruden, right? Where's the physicality? What's going on with the Cowboys? Just listen to the full clip.
If you were the GM for the Cowboys, what are you doing? Are you fixing anything? You changing anything? Are you leaving anything the same?
Well, Prescott, you got to keep him healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
I just think this is the Dallas Cowboys. Where's Emmitt Smith? He's retired. We got to run the ball here.
Yes.
They don't even run the ball. I don't
Yeah.
know who their running back is. They used to pound your face in with the very intimidating offensive line. Now it's kind of like a 7-on-7 pass-happy offensive attack. And I don't think their defense, other than Parsons, has an identity. And Lawrence is gone. I don't know. Overshawn's a great linebacker, but he's hurt. I just don't know what their defensive mentality is, and I missed the old Dallas Cowboys.
Man, don't we all?
Tell me he lying. Tell me he lying. Like, listen, running backs, Emmitt Smith, Tony Dorsett, Ezekiel Elliott. You got people, and these I'm naming people, there's some people that you might not know, like Calvin Hill, Robert Newsom. These are the top leaders in Cowboys rushing history. Of course, you know DeMarco Murray. You know Marion the Barbarian. You know what I'm saying? These are people, you also had like Julius Jones, Felix Jones, Herschel Walker, stuff like that, Tony Pollard. These are the top leaders. But any success, we've had good running game. But I do think the thing he mentioned, the offensive line has always been a catalyst. It has. I'm not saying you can have one without the other. Emmitt Smith would have been amazing, but and he had amazing times without just always great offensive lines. But most of his career, he had one. Ezekiel Elliott, Great offensive lines. You know what I'm saying? The other gentleman on this list, DeMarco Murray, our line was strong then. It was strong then. So it makes you wonder, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Because we got retreads. We got retreads. I asked the question earlier on Twitter, are we underestimating Miles Sanders? People say we might be underestimating Javonte Williams. Are we putting too much weight on Jadon Blue's shoulders? Are we trying to force Phil Maffa to be great before he showed us anything on the field? The answers to those questions is yes, 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 yes. Maybe we are underestimating Miles Sanders, but he's not Saquon Barkley. Let's not go crazy. He's not. You know what I'm saying? Javonte Williams probably is going to come out there and be what we want him to be. The smash mouth physical runner. He probably is. He probably is. Jadon Blue, we putting too much on the shoulders. We're putting too much on the shoulders. I think he's going to be great, but we can't expect him to come out there and be Alvin Kamara already. You know, we got to let him be great as he can as a rookie, get what we can out of him, put him in positions to win, and see what we can get. Phil Maffa, we probably reaching. We're probably all reaching. Not me personally, but a lot of Cowboys fans are reaching. You want Phil Maffa to be a gangster. A gangster. He not that, though. But remember Darren McFadden? Remember we brought McFadden in and he was able to have success? That's what I'm looking at from Miles Sanders. Can Miles Sanders go out there and get us 1,100 yards? Yes. If Rico Dowdle can get over 1,000 with that porous offensive line, horrible run scheme, somebody that's not committed to the run, if Dowdle can get over 1,000, I think Sanders or one of these guys on this team can get about 1,000. But what's more likely is probably we're going to have an amalgamation. We'll probably get 1,300 to 1,400 rush yards from everybody. Miles will get 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? Phil Maffa will get 100. Over here, Jadon Blue will come out there and give us 4 to 5. Javonte Williams will come give us 4. You know, we'll get an amalgamation. And that's just, we have never been a running back by committee team. But there's a first time for everything. But the catalyst of this is going to be the physicality of this offensive line. Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker. That's our anchor. We're going to move people. Tyler Guyton, Terrence Steele, can I introduce you to combo blocks, duos, moving people? That's what we're going to be doing. And the running backs, especially ones with good vision and experience, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. That's who's going to take advantage of it. I think Gruden is right. We have lost our identity. I think through the new identity, the commitment to the running game, Clayton Adams, Brian Schottenheimer, people that love to run the ball, Connor Riley, we're going to get our running game back. Dak Prescott is going to thrive. He is almost 70% in play action in his career. Yes, we're going to reestablish our identity through the run game, open up the pass game. And then CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens going to go crazy. Lastly, let me touch on that little part real quick. Quick little 30 seconds. He threw some shots at our defense. I think the Cowboys, if you want to say defensive moniker, has always been pass rush, takeaways. That's when our defenses are great, that's what we do. We're going to get back to that identity too. I think our pass rush is going to be great. And I think that the takeaways will follow. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments about the identity. I'm not the biggest John Gruden fan, but he's right. We have lost our identity. It's time for us to regain it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. I'll holla.